Okay, so let's focus on today. Let's have a simple UI. Take the MCD restaurant as input, and display their child accounts or customers. So this is a record type called as restaurant, and they will get the restaurant whose individual users or business customers. They all be assumed as customers. So that will this will use case one. So shall we do this first? Yeah. So that way we'll try to get to know. So what are things that we're going to use it? So LWC and then simple HTML is required, and for JS, of course, we're going to handle we may call at the rate wire uh, to call a method in Apex class, and then so you need to have an Apex class, and that has logic. HTML. So you will have a iterator or for each to display the data. So of course it's an LWC. Under that we will have a HTML, JS, Apex class. So these three components is required in order to display this context of this UI. Mm. Use case one is in LWC component. From UI you take the MC number and display the respective customers. If this is use case, we have to build the structure for this. So how to do is um, how do we create the component? So before this, they're just saying this from your take this MCD number and display their customers. So which page? In app page, record page, where you want to have it. So let's have okay, fine. Let's have now in home page. Okay, this is generic number that we're gonna give it. Let's put this in app page. App page nothing but where you try to create a lightning page. So we'll generally create a lightning page and give them a tab access. So let's focus on the app page so that our UI will be there. So for this, in order to write this, so you have to have a good HTML to display the context. So we'll make it as a nicer UI. And then after this, we will try to go to different use case. So how do we create a component? So always we go to um, Visual Studio and make sure our project is open. Create LW component under LWC folder. So this is a structure I'm saying so that it will be easy for you guys. So any use case we talk, so what are things is required you have to easily guess out. Okay, HTML, JS, and then do we require Apex class or not? Or sometime within Apex class also we can achieve. So is it something that LDS service that we can use it? So you can guess it out. So now let's start building on this. It's a simple VS code. We're gonna go there. So this time on the LWC, right click, create a web component, and this time I'm gonna say is display customers. So you can have LWC. The component is ready, At the same time, you need to also have a Apex class, so that class will declare you or which tell you something about, I don't know whether the Apex class has been refreshed or not. So right click on them, retrieve source from the org, so that I'll get the latest all the classes that which we have done in the past, because I see only few classes are here. So we've written so many classes here, so that all that we will get it. So it is running here. Let's quickly see them. Yeah, it runs actually. But what are things it runs? So guys, I think if you do this, only this particular class should get refreshed. What you have to do is you have to go to what do you call it, package.xml, and there you have to retrieve it. So only then the new components would come in picture. So I did there. So only the whatever the existing class got updated. I'll make another point here. If you go to this is package.xml and retrieve. Long result text. So meanwhile, I'll go to your Apex class, right click here. Okay, now it is run through everywhere. So did you see this guys? We have got all the classes. So always we have to do from the package.xml so that we get the right data there. Okay, now why I want to do all this stuff is
So once we done the package, again we need to go and refresh the classes, huh?
no, no, no. Once you do the retrieve source, every classes would have been got with the latest content. So why
Oh,
I did
okay.
I just went on right click here. I no retrieve the source. So the existing class whatever it had it retrieved, but there are few classes which I created newly to get them. So one of the way is to get from the package collection
Okay.
because this is getting the like star. Okay, get me all the classes, and here it is already retrieved. Only we are trying to update it.
Oh, okay.
So that is the difference. If something in existing class is already there, like say custom account controller, you can just directly say that hey retrieve this because you are writing there and retrieve it here. Already we have a
Any new classes we should go and retrieve from the package if
yeah.
we.
Here already we have written a controller called account custom controller and public account list object. Get their restaurant number and public void. Oh, this void is because I don't want it to be a void. I want it to be returning a list of records. Because the method itself says get me a list of records, right? Um, okay, anyway, I'll say just as get me the list of records. So the list of records is put as the list of contacts, not contact, list of contact. mm, And this method should be static method. Should I write all together a new method? So that shouldn't disturb something if it is existing using it, it'll have an impact. Okay, I'm gonna click on right click, class, create a new Apex class, and the class name is mm, so LWC restaurant. Under which folder? Yes, default Apex class folder. So, by default, they get a constructor here, but we don't require that. So, I may write logic here. So, this class doesn't require. So, method is required here. Mm, I don't construct here. I'm throwing it out, and then so let's say this is an account list we have static, not a contacts. It's an account only. Get contacts. Okay, fine. Mm, So return this account list. But before this, if you are expecting that this particular class should be shared, so what do you need to make this particular method as mm, or enabled or enabled, and there inside that there's something called as cacheable is equal to true because lightning experience with LWC requires this stuff. So why we require this? So you are trying to interact with the components. So all this LWC, all the other stuff is we say that. Say when you go to a browser, we want the latest context of your data, and you want to cache them to display or to do a speedy activity. So we have this cache things. So LWC or Aura component expects to have uh, these particular uh, annotations to be displayed at the top of your method. See, the moment we try to say it as her enable, so automatically it created me a method structure saying that hey public static string, given the method name, put a logic and try, and the catch automatically they've brought it up here. Uh, it's always to have this, or we can throw it up because already written a method here um, saying that account get accounts, and then we have account list. So that account list only we're trying to return it here. Guys, any questions? The restaurant number which you're gonna get, what I'm gonna do is, so I don't want anything like a string separately, but I would copy very here like this, and we may not have these. Um, so the moment you call a method, that method itself will display some value. So again, I think all these are not required unless it is like a visual first page. Yeah, it's maybe required because we are doing get is there. So here, so this also
So
method
Aura enabled is only for that particular
method.
uh, method. Again, if you write one more method, then we need to put one more Aura enable
Yes,
there.
yes. For every method, if you're displaying a variable also, and on top of that variable also, you have to display the return enable.
Okay.
Since I'm directly accessing the get accounts and I'm sending the string as a one argument params, um, what do you say, as a restaurant number inside. And based on this restaurant number only, I'm trying to get the parent record and all the child records I wanted to get there. So to do this activity, so I made simple account and then I listed the account and this account I'm returning back. So I'm going to deploy this to source so that this LWC customer restaurant customers is we don't have any class like this in the current talk. So right now we create it here. So if you go to our developer console, so you won't see anything there. So we don't have here as of now. Hmm. So let's see our so is yet to deploy. Okay, so we know that this is going to deploy. So meanwhile, my CCP class get to our LWC. Yeah, it displayed. You see this? We got this. So this is a class to written there. Now to test this method, we can have call this class name dot method name, and you can pass the restaurant number. It will display the return results of it. Are you getting this? So now let's do
Yeah.
one thing. So we have a controller ready. Um, so just you have to pass the restaurant number. So meanwhile, I can have a template of just sending an input box. We will improvise this, but just we'll just simply send an input. We're saying it as lightning. Um, lightning colon input, and from there, so what else required? In this lightning input, we will try to call a normal like an input text box. What you have type. So generally we have input type means we have expect that to be text type. Okay. Invalid streams index number. Mm, close this. Okay. This the same thing, something like that. I want to get it. So MCD India, and then if I get, I should get the respective. So this UI we're trying to do it in LWC. Um, so we'll do one thing. So we'll go. So the last class we're trying to do it here, right? Simple one. HTML we will take input here. How the things were taken it here. Mm, So the name, same thing we're gonna do it. These guys I've used directly like this. But if you take with the lighting input, that will be good. Because something that we give in data input and then getting it. Um, anyway, so let's come down here. So I will use lightning input and check it out whether this will work or not. So type is equal to text and value. So value we may not have it. But I would try to capture the so value from this particular name or ID something if you have it will be good enough. So lightning could input if I say I need to enter in the proper tag as this way. They don't allow the single tag. Slash close the braces. So lightning input type text. So you can have label as the interested number. Now this is a simple text box that we have. So now this takes in and come to JS. So in the JS, now look at this. So input type text value on input we are doing it. Yeah, we can take these two things from here. So why value we are doing it is let's see on input handle input. I'm saying it. So this could be a custom method that which we try to enter in. So why I'm saying name is or you can give restaurant. Hmm. So this is a value that we're going to give it here. So what are the number going to give it? So we're going to call this particular method, and that particular method should be doing a wire service. So they are trying to go call a method in the apex and then get at the data. So that is ultimate goal of us. You agree? So let's go to handle input, and then on input we are trying to get it, or on click on of this button we are getting it. So I think on typing of a button only, sorry, on typing of text only, I wanted to call. Let's see the wire service how it works. So this is a display customers. Okay, let's come here. First thing I want to use, I would be using a wire here. So mention the decorators. So basically these are colors adapters and the functions which you wanted to call. Let's say you are using an apex class. Make sure the syntax you follow right. You are trying to call apex slash uh, yes, Salesforce slash force slash class name dot and the method name that you have to follow. So basically we have to import that particular method. That's very important in order to get the data to be displayed. So what I do is I wanted to import the method, right? So import, and what is in the method name which I've written is get contacts. Sorry, get accounts. Sorry. Get accounts or count get accounts. So this is a method name. And then from Salesforce we do it. So when I say at the rate, it can get me the multiple things. For example, Salesforce Apex, some plugin XML, get me the user ID who logged in. So get me the schema. So a couple of them they have it. So like that, the rate Salesforce. I want Apex. Under this Apex, I want to get something of my class name is LWC restaurant customers. Now under that again, I want the my method name. So my method name would be get accounts. So particularly this line indicates retrieve the well, import the custom method, which is to name Apex class. So that's one thing we're doing here, and then at the last put a semicolon here. So of course we're calling the lightning element, we're calling the wire. So why are we calling wire? Because we are trying to call a method. So based on that we can use it. So now what I want to do is I want to use even the track also. Why? Because the track indicates you are given the restaurant number, right? So I want to have a track also. So both what is that? Both the decorators we're using here. Here at the track in the HTML already have mentioned the restaurant number. Give me the restaurant number. So for me, at the track, restaurant number is important. Maybe at the very beginning it is null. So this is fine. And what I wanted to basically track the informations. So I want to track the contact, sorry, accounts. Always I get a contact. I don't know why. The track accounts list. Okay. If anything error comes, we will even display the errors, something that I cannot process. So we can say at the rate error. Good. So already there's a restaurant number we've given there. So we have to send the accounts. So this account is what? So I didn't do any display so far for the account. So I have to write another a table where it is a for loop. So we will try to print the records. So we'll come there. So firstly, you're trying to get the restaurant number. So we'll see in our Apex class, the restaurant number has been hit, and we are trying to retrieve the results and query them and send back. So step by step, let's go. So at the track, if accounts you have, that's okay. So at least one if it is used. If you don't use no, it says a display. This property is not used anywhere. So it will tell that way for this. So so if you want, you can give the elements as what do you say. I'm just giving on input. You're giving this value. So you can change it to something that which you want. For example, on input what do you want, or on change also you can want because you're trying to do a change activity there. Search contact. So you're trying to get the value because the moment you keep entering it, it is keep changing the value queue. I mean, this is an event, so you can have any event there. So I would say search restaurant because let's give the finite name that which you want. Search restaurant on change is equal to restaurant. Search restaurant. Any spelling mistake is not a valid output on the learning input. What is this? Sorry for this. This shouldn't be caps. Is getting since I made this as a caps, it says that it is an invalid on change. So they would give a reference here. Uh, while you're doing a mistake, it says, "Hey, this is not a reference, no, or it is not the valid one." Um, so no fix for this available. So basically, we have to write all these are into the small characters. Please do not write anything in the caps. So just look at this value, lightning input, everything is in small. So the one disadvantage that we always figure out is in the Visual Force and Apex class, they are not having any case sensitive stuff. I mean, you can write whatever you want. You can write R as caps or small as air, O as caps, and C as like something. But this in the LWC and the NORA, so they're very keen about the type that we display here. Okay, so I think we have taken why I want to make type of search is because we are trying to give an on type change. It could be text also, it could be search also. So these guys have given recently for input type search. We can give it. Okay, so value I'm getting it. Rest on change means what we're trying to call this method. With this method we don't have now. So I'm going to come here. So I want to write a method called as search restaurant. So where I would have an event in that, and under that event I would try to do some activity there. So this is a restaurant number that we had, right? So let me do this. So this dot the restaurant number. So automatically it should get me restaurant number. Look at this. So is equal to what? So generally, event if it is there in the event text box, whatever you're giving the values, I'm just getting it here. Why? Because here in the HTML you've given on change, it is calling a method. So it knows that what text box this is into. Event dot this event is generating event dot target dot value of this particular text box. It will capture it. So let me do that only. Event dot uh, target dot value. So event dot target dot value will get me. So from this event, people when the moment they're doing an on change event, so we will have a value here in the restaurant. And this restaurant number now we will call to what do you say to where method. Guys, getting now under it wire and make sure what you wanted to have return type, what you're trying to call. So this all have to define there. So I think in the last class somewhere I don't know. So where somewhere I have defined it. So what method you have to write, how to do it. Okay, may not be here. Check it up now. So where? So what we do? Oh, we saw yesterday the syntax of in some block. Um, so where you're writing it, and first thing is you should write your adapter. So decorator factor to wire property or method to wire adapter resource. So first thing is what you have to do is we have to call the method that which you're trying to do it. So where here you defined right already. So that method you have to call it here. Anyway, that link has been already taken and it has been given here. So it's not proper get accounts. Because in a minute it can no this class would wind up. So rejoin back. Record it. So that it wire get accounts is a method, and we need to know that some parameters we have to pass it right. That is something restaurant number to pass it. So I would give in sometime back in our also you did right component dot get the method name and do it, and you do a set params. So or something like action dot set params. In the action params, you would give the variable of that particular method, which input param you given colon and what values you want to pass it. Because remember that.
Yeah.
Same way now you giving a other at wire method name and you have to give a parameters of what you want to pass it. And moreover, so here so what is the method? What is the string that we have? Restaurant number is the string that we have. So same thing you have to give it here. Restaurant number. Since this is the value that which is gonna give there, and so search key. So which is a search key we have here as a restaurant number we have. I think both are looking same. So maybe I'll change in the class. That's something I wanted to have. Mm, Okay, I'll just keep this as the rest number in the class. Small change only. So since I modified this class at here directly into the server, so what you have to do is um, if you go to the classes, you go to this respective where. So I'm going to retrieve this from source. So whatever the restaurant number has been written, if you write something here, you deploy it. If you do some activity, the change there, you try to retrieve it here. So that's the simple thing we follow. Okay, anyway. So rest number colon this restaurant number. In order to get this value to pass directly, what we have to do is we have to use this keys. Call as dollar key. We have to use it and the keyword, whatever the same keyword it is. So why? Because we are trying to pass the value dynamically here. So that's the reason we're doing it. So rest number there colon and then whatever the value that you want to pass it here, it is all good. So now the result of this, you need to give it in data. You can have your what is it? You can have your own name to give in here. So get contacts is already we have. Sorry, get accounts already we have. Restaurant number given. So now the result of this, I would say that okay, you're getting into um, accounts. I'm just giving variable here, and so I know this method instantly would have called and would have got results here, and these results we have to process it, right? So generally we divide by data, comma, any error if you have. So why I'm displaying is because if we can store something in this error. So data error. Whatever the return of the results would be data in data here, and the error anything if you have, we will be error here. Okay. So now if I think our data is fine and then we all are good, so we need not to worry about it. So that's the reason we say if the data contains some value, then do the same thing here. What is that? So this dot accounts we written here, right? This dot accounts is equal to data. So guys, whatever you have called this method, right? So you say get accounts, you send a params here. So if this value returning something, it will have in. So this is a simple wired accounts. I don't. We can give ABC also whatever we wanted it. I'm just writing wired accounts. So why I want to do this? Uh, so if you have the wired accounts, this after this instant of this, the next line we have to use it. So what it is says is it is trying to say the collected data will be in data, and any errors been framed will be here. And in the data, if you say, yes, you say that yes, we have some data there. It's not empty. So then I'm assigning the value to this.
Okay.
And if say it is error, so we have to say it as something went wrong there. We have to match it with undefined. So if it is error there, so we have to make this undefined. Currently, if you don't know about what is the error, then do this undefined. For this error, you are trying to define undefined here. So if data is not if that sorry data is not present, and then we say else if. So while displaying the data and some error occurred, so you're defining that. Else if surely you got some error, what to do? So then we have to assign it properly with error data what we got there. So I would say this dot error again. I would take it here, but I wanted to map this error whatever we got in error, and if you get it's something like turning on turning off, guys. If you have a data, you're setting the value for data. An error, you should turn off them. It's like a boolean. Hey, you are true. Okay, you are true. So this guys, I should make this guys undefined. Why? Because if you have error only you display, or else you be undefined and keep quiet. So in data, while calling a data, so I have turned off this guy undefined. Now while you're calling about error, saying that this surely will is having not have any data, and there else they are having the error. So I'm defining the error there. So now at this time, what I have to do is I have to call this guy because your error is activated here. When error is there, what I should do? I should make these guys undefined. Correct? Just writing this. So while I'm displaying data, see two things we are following here: data and error. So if you have data, okay, assign the data here. So what will be an error field? So let it have undefined. Okay, now we have error. Okay, assign the error whatever we got there. Now what is the list of records would be there? Let them be undefined because we already got an error. How the accounts would be there? If you don't define anything, no, it will be null and then it will have an exception to be printed there. That's the reason. So these guys are very cleverly maintaining. Okay, if I wanted to display this, so other guy would be turned off. So if I want to display this, now this guy is turned off. Getting? Is any questions?
I'm good.
So let me save this, and so far I think so. I'm not calling about what to say. I'm not getting these accounts and displaying to the UI. So firstly, I wanted to check whether our input text box is hitting our class and are we able to print some data there. Um, I think this time I'll write here and deploy that. So system.debug. Mm, So in the system.debug, I'm trying to print the exact list because which data we want to send, I'm just doing that. I am saying deploy this. I'm going to cancel that because here deployed and I modified there again. It is having too many confusions. It will not refresh the data basically. You have to close and open that in the dev console. Okay, deployed. So now let's let's do one thing. So the only the Apex class is deployed. So not our sorry component. So I go to here component. So in the latest of LWC XML file, what we did. So it says true here. Look at our meta file of display says false. Why? Because you didn't say that it should be available. No, I think we have to copy this whole. And I know you'll be placing an app page, but still I will have given to record page or home page. So let me have an all. So I want actually to make this false to true. Only then you will be available there. So any new component you created, it will be false. I said. And the same way it is false. Now we're trying to make it as true. And the targets which we're making it available for Apex app page, record page, home page. So let me try to deploy this source. So if we try to deploy the package XML, right, or metadata XML, along with this, the JS HTML will go. So you need to worry about it. Guys, any questions so far?
No good.
Okay. So now we have to come to the our page. Mm, Okay, I was saying that I would create an app page, right? Or lightning page. Here to try to get new lightning component. Um, I think I should go to app builder. So here you can create new pages. Oh, in incognito, sorry, what is it? Incognito window, you can't do that activity. I want app page. In incognito window, you can't. What is it? You can't open the lightning experience of this app builder. Mm, So it's a restaurant. I would say restaurant customers because you're giving a restaurant and they're giving customers to you. It's a restaurant customers. Currently, I think I have two regions now. So I think I should have flipped one after the other. Mm, So basically, I'll put one region and then one component below another, and I'll put it off because one box will do a search Um, Header to origin. This is also good. Where is search? Okay, so let's have this. So on the header, I'll put the search bar, and the next you get the results in the left side. So we'll get something on the right side also. So finish. So do you see this display customers we have been got it here. So that's a component which I'm gonna put it there. So it has a search. So the moment type I give it search, right? So that's the reason you can see there is a magnifier button. If there's a normal text, you wouldn't have it. Since you put type as equal to text, that's the reason we have that. So let's save it, activate. So it is activity for all users here. So restaurant customers. Hmm. You see this is what I was saying. There's a magnifier here. How it has come? Since in your HTML you have put type equal to search. So that's the reason. So this has turned to be search. So now all we have to do is in our developer console, let me go to developer console and clear the logs. So now I would be eating a value there, mcdind. Hmm, mcdind. Did you see this? The background, there's a lot of things got processed. So let me see. This all says our operation. This act list is null. Hmm. So now why these values are not getting here, guys? So what happening here? It's a on change activity you're doing it. The moment you change a value, it is not like on submit also it is. So the full entered text is, and then you're trying to return the value. It is something different, correct, right? Fully entered text means you are waiting for imcd ind. If you enter, then only I'll click on a button. Then that button will try to call a method, and then we do a service there. But whereas here, we just
So
see,
on change.
yeah,
So if you and suppose you entered the MCDIND, if you
mm,
change something else back again enter, then it will trigger, right?
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, first this guy would have been typed with the m, right? So whatever
Now,
each key you are moving, there will service will be called
yeah,
mcdind. So till
yeah.
this last, so I think I could see multiple again services been opened up. So that's the reason we have there on change activity we have it. But to resolve this, what we have to do is in our Apex class we should have something like a wildcard keys we say, or wildcard operators we say. So we need to have those things. So let's come to our Apex class. Um, this. So open LWC restaurant class. So we are directly giving this restaurant number here, right? So what if these restaurant numbers are given in a key format, something like this, like operator, and say first and the last, whatever I want to have it. I think somewhere I used it for search. I don't know if it's in batch class. Okay, no problem. So what you have to do is just like we are trying to use a like operator, and then we're trying to get them. So account parent dot account number, right? So instead of is equal to, just like we put,
Plus sign, right?
then plus, what was that?
No, I'm saying plus sign.
Yeah. So plus indicates the value has to be right away gone there. So let me deploy this to search. But for me, it is if you're while typing only you wanted to get some results. So this is the way that we do it. Or else you type the whole value and then you submit it, then we get a value, right? So that is different. Mm, so now let me Control Shift R and close all debug logs. So here I do it MCDIND. So for the MCDIND, the moment at the very beginning given as MCD, so a lot of values got it. And then 8.6. So finally for MCD, this is Telangana is only the valid record. So I think now it is working perfectly. So we just doing a like operator. So we land with the proper name. So then I give a proper results unless I will have a table of records display one or more to you. So our logic on type. So it is going to the controller and it is getting the each and every time different data. If you see here, those many records are matching. You can think. So when you land to a proper parent number, so it is showing only one record here. Is getting this? So what shall we have is now, okay, our control is good. Our JS is also good there to do it. So you are trying to hit it and get it. All that they are pretty good. So now we have to have a table of data that to be displayed properly. So with the HTML stuff which we have, right? So we have a data, but we have the for loop which we have to display properly. And that to be it is instantly it should display this stuff. Okay. So now let's try to use some design stuff, lightning card stuff. So any lightning design cards we have. Lightning cards. So they'll give a card load for us. So I'll just try to inject the card load directly to us. So view as a lightning web component. Let me just so lightning web component. So let it load. So oh some other basic card, a card with narrow. I don't. So maybe because of this incognito browser, I think it is like dying there. Um, a normal browser. So it is displaying here. So why it happening with something there is because of in incognito the security features will be different. So that's the reason we have it. Okay. Anyway, I think simple basic card is enough for us. So lightning card layout button. Here this is a button we have called as new. Let's have a card with narrow variant. Let me see how different types of cards and we'll pull them. For the small thing, the thing is narrow variant. Oh, let me take this. Okay, fine. I don't want anyway. I'm gonna throw this out. So lightning card. So come to our VS Code and then put it here. So this is simply a card we have, and let's see any lightning layout we get it. So lightning layout we get it. So even that represents something pretty decent layout. How to do now appear and how to render the context. Layout with horizontal is not required. Mm. So why I wanted is this because you can give the field name, eligibility, mm, like how this values are displaying, right? So likewise, I can have account name and other stuff. So for that reason, like a small table type structure, I can have it. So you're displaying a value. So I'm just giving the associate names. Yeah, I can have this type. This also looks pretty good. So what they're having it, it's a very big thing. Sorry. So lightning layout. So field name. So let's give field name here, and the value is this. Okay, all right. So 2 minutes sketch will release this up. Oh, no problem. Send this div. Okay, container they have. So what I'm gonna do inside the card, I'm gonna display this stuff. Let the card be there. So I don't want a variant as narrow. So I'm gonna keep it as basic, and no button I required inside this, and no footer I required in this. Uh, no button, and the body could have okay. So no footer button. So inside this, I would have a lightning layout. So in this layout inside, so let me display 3 fields. That's enough. Um, lightning header field name is I'm gonna put customer name, and the name field. Let's get it here. And the second field would be I don't know what I typed there. We'll go back to our controller and see what we have actually queried. Okay, it just gives name, account number, and then parent ID. Um, so the next one is account number, and so we can give it as parent name also. Later we'll get it, or we say um, restaurant ID. So we have to get restaurant in there. Meanwhile, I'll try to open the class. Parent or account number we have no. parent.name. So that way I would get my parent account name. So that would be a restaurant. So any quick change, you have to deploy this. So it's been deployed. So display customers. So name, account number, and restaurant name. These three things we're gonna display it here. Anyway, all this we're getting part of the context. Hmm. This as session. Lightning call. Okay. So so the overall the layout, the oh sorry for this. Over the layout. So whatever we got as name, um, though it's not look like a table. It would match for one record, I think so. So firstly let's print for one, and then we'll get for multiple. So layout item, and then we have a name here. So name under this we have here header column. Header column is this, and the value has been given this. Oh, now I got it. So header column, if you want to keep repetitive things, then it will not be good stuff there. Mm. Okay, anyway. So what I want to is have template here. Well, because using a template, so we are going to define the for loop that the accounts which you had to we have to display there. So if true, so yes, we have context. Whatever the accounts that we displayed, right? So we match the data. So that we're trying to see get it here. If true means if this has a value, if it is not empty, that's the meaning of it. So if it's not empty, then get each record here. So template again. So for each item, we're gonna say. So why we have to put this at the very beginning is if the account list is not empty, that's the first thing. So we wanted to get there. So then we're getting a for each item. So for colon each, and then what is an item name? Sorry, uh, the list value is a account. So for each accounts, and now item we're getting it. So for again colon item. So each record means there's a list of records. We're sending each one of them. So item is what that we have to display, saying that A, B, C, whatever we can have it there. So I would say for each item, um, let me put this ACK. That means account record, and then close this off. So the template is closed here. So if you have an header column, so they keep displaying the header columns there. So instead instead of having this name like this, so what I thought is get them here inside. Hmm. So prior to this, I think we need to have a key elements to be displayed there. So let me have a key here. So key is equals to you need to pass the account ID, whatever the act that you have defined here, right? And.id. So that it indicates that each row is like unique. They have their account record. And then what we have here is we have account.name. Account.name. That's all. I don't know why this is being making noise. So let's deploy this to a source code and see. So, oh my god, this shouldn't be title as hello. It's a MCD restaurant customer search. So I have to cancel this. Now we'll try to deploy. There's any questions? So why this design we have to bring it up is because so we want to have a good template there, a simple UI, and a card to display the list of records, just like you're trying to display the what is it, the records. Now you have input here. You can also have a data table type of results. Something this I can have a data table also here. So lightning data table. So share lightning input data field data they're passing and columns they're passing here. So for the JS, so they are defining here what label should be there, what value should be there, and let's see tomorrow about this how to connect on the data table. So we have to see one of the examples of data table for sure because you have to give a value there in search box. Automatically, all the list of records you have to do. Display you have to do it. So today we just sending a method and we're trying it out. White got field. So one thing is to deploy. Mm, Salesforce MCD display customer JSON. Something went wrong. Missing key for element div inside the iterator elements within the iterator must have unique computed ID key. Oh, this is the one which is having issue. Mm. So should we have titled all of this? So the header column which we used, right? So it says that it does not have a unique key element there. It is just simply a layout of a card that we're trying to display. So ideally this all to be displayed in data table. So we'll say that. Oh my god, still it's training. And record also. So I got an error saying that P has no matching close tag. Where it is. Oh my god, this has no. Why? Line number 9. Because what it is doing. Okay, let me don't want this. So this is P key is equal to account dot ID and then account dot name or what is correct on it, you know. How can I say they don't have for a term equal to content to this? And one more thing, if something goes wrong, I also want to have an error, right? So if this is true, the template if this error, so then display error. This also we have developed the code for it. So that's the reason we are just getting here. If this data, you show this, the other one is undefined. If error, show this another one is undefined. Or let's make it a simple. So that's it. Lightning card, lightning layout element. Makes that true to display the list of records. If error, display the error. Inside the each item key. Oh, hmm. Still, it says the same point. P has no matching closing tag.
Account dot name should be in quotes or something.
No, this is not a problem. This is open and then this is closing.
No. That account dot name that should be in quotes.
No, this is fine. Like
Okay,
other guys were given the same way. So
okay.
it has a valid display, but this just like normal thing.
Just remove and see what happens that time.
Mm-hmm.
Key equal to
And this very very simple thing. Let me check if still that gives the same problem, then we'll throw a different thing. So there's so many other yeah. So somewhere rendering is alright. So render for each render list HTML. So I'll put this if that doesn't work. I'll give this concept. It's okay. If this guy has some issues. What we did for me, what I did is this ID was small. You know, this was like this. I changed it to the camps here. That's the only change. Variable is just like a variable. It can be ABC, whatever it is. That doesn't matter. ID field which he references the issue. I think.
I don't know.
Shall we do that? Look at this.
Yeah,
Control
try it
C.
again.
As I said, no. So whatever the fields that you give here, it should be very. Look, even here also they have given ID has caps here. I mean, this they are very case sensitive in order of dealing with. Somewhere the program come here. So you can write in Apex class whatever it is. So they don't care. So look at this name small, account number as they wish. So everything they can get as it is. Let's see. Deploy. So what other issue we had? I just have simply account here, yeah, account here. So again, this is an issue.
I think I think you kept it in one line. Maybe that's an issue.
No,
Let's
and
see.
the next time also we throw it out back, right? The next instantly also I have just corrected and then send them back. So let's see. Even this would. I don't think so. Let's see. Or else this code is not getting that quick references as a refresh. So based on this last one, try search. We'll do it. I thought of showing quickly for you guys a data table. The one drawback is VS Code has to deploy to all the way to your org and you have to do a test. So that's the killing time.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Successful.
nothing we changed. Anyhow, so either it should be late refreshing code. I'll copy this. So it displays all at the beginning, and then later on when I modify to MCD, look at this, quick search, right?
Mhm.
So, so since it's a blank number, so they are trying to find who has blank record. So they are getting this case. Mm. So MCDIND is the one guy who has. So they are telling me here, and to our different guy. So do we have this editor bar?
Yeah.
So let me get this there and see how many records do we get it. Hmm. So all these guys belong to. So this is the parent account, and they are all the customers, except an institute, Burma, India Mart, Taj Hotel, Roman Rails, Rajaram. So this is something that you search and then you get the results here, like a normal, a value like one after the other. So if we get this, since it's a card type of layout, they displayed very well. If I want to have a data table type, so where at the moment you type it, so we have to get it here. So something like that we have to work out. For that, a data table is required. So in the data table, we have to specifically tell. So actually, the existing data table, whatever we have, it shows the flat. So yeah. So do you have anything with sortable row and then okay, these are not required. Let's say this is a basic table we have, but all these are displaying a data. So where is the search key parameters we have to have? So HTML. So they simply have this data to flow in. So we'll have one input type text we are passing to a controller here. So this is the controller here, and the data whatever has been collected as columns. So it should be maintained well because columns are defined here. Field name, what, let's say name, account number, billing state, city, all this we have to give it here. And those columns we have to map it properly here. And the data which we're getting it is also should be equivalent to the same. For example, your data is not here. So this guy goes here and get the data here. Fetch data helper, amount of records. So they try to get from the some. So this is how they do an integration. Go hit the service and post method, get the content application. So they get a whole body of records. So let's do this HTML collection. I don't know if I have some data it should display. So data.faker, the hair cohab collections, you would get it. But this is something that from a postman, if you try, I think you will get it. So you should have a post, you should have a content type this, and you get a body response of those things. Let me check if postman works for that. So browser is actually when the moment you put it, it looks like a get operations. So they don't understand it should be a post. So let's see if the postman opens. I'll put this. So basically, they're trying to get the data from some service. So that JSON the value they are trying to assign it to this data. So that's the reason they're putting await fetch data helper number of records is 100. They're doing it. So fetch data helper is here, and that's a method. And number of records they give 100 here. So they go into this particular method. They're returning it. The JSON has 100 results because you get 100 records there. So let me see whether you can see post. So number of records. Oh, I think this goes part of a body. Let me do this try. Slash. So what is the key that we're gonna pass? So number of records is the method value they have. Value gonna give us 100. So header. Let's see first try to send out. So the list is blank here. So if I don't do this any of this number of records, still a blank. And let me put that body etc. Not text, it's JSON. Record metadata. Is it somewhere been captured? Return metadata. Oh, constant. What we gonna give it there? Let's send this one. Do you see this? We got hundreds of records here. So what they're doing is they are trying to send this request post method and the body which is sent in JSON format, and they retrieve these many records. So these are the IDs which is present there. So why it has to display only the IDs? Because you have not given what are the other metadata structure should be present. For example, here record metadata has been given here. So in that record metadata, if you given as a name, other thing like name, email, this all if you given could have been it would have plotted all these records, because as of now we're just hitting the records and get it. So we are not querying any by field there. So something in this. Mm, let's do a sample thing. I'm not sure. I'm just trying this out. Um, so comma and then some copy. So record metadata name is equal to it's a bad request. Okay. So maybe they're trying to send the name.
One more column missing, right? Brace closing brackets.
That's correct. It's not equal. It's colon here. Yeah, JSON is correct. Perfect. Yeah. So do you see this name, email ID, and ID we're getting it. It's all about the based on the request type that we're sending it here. Oh, we got a good integrated service here. This is the ID we have, and this is the post method we have. and no any authentication is required to connect to the system. So you want hundreds of records to get, just past number and record metadata. So they're saying that which field you want to query among this. I say name, email. So those values you're mapping it here. So in the return responses, we have this. It's a array of records. Now all this data, what we're doing is we are trying to our JSON, our local JSON. This would be treated as a JSON response, and this we could map to our data table to display. So fair little work. So basically, what we're trying to do is we are trying to hit a service and get the data and display it. So we have seen this an example here. They have put it here. Mm. So what they have done is, so they have hit a service here. So let's have our Apex class also connect a service and get the data. Mm. So basically, what they want to do is they want column to be mapped and the data to be mapped properly. Leave about the columns. So columns we can have three here. So the data which you're doing it, we have to properly stringify them and just get them back. For example, here the results which you have been hit. You know that this header post all the content we're giving it. So you're stringifying it. Then you get the response JSON, and the response JSON we are assigning to this. So then this response is being carried out here, and this one's been carried out here, and that has been assigned to our data because the whole bunch is returning as a response. So that has been assigned here, and this data has been given to this one. Is getting I'm calling this method right. This method is return type is response. It could be a JSON response. So that directly we're taking it here. Data table only takes JSON only. This Lightning data table it takes only data table. So for example, data call is equal to data if you give it. So this data should be whole in JSON. Like say these are all the values which are displaying here. It is all JSON structure only based on that data only it is displaying here. And tomorrow we wanted to have our own custom logic and to display something like this that should have a data table if you see. So then we need to construct them our query such a way that it will map to the right fields there and then display the context. So we'll see that tomorrow. So that we are trying to hit a service and we're trying to get the return and then display the content. Or we are trying to query the account this we have and try to display in a lightning data table. So we have to use the decorators, we have to use a lightning data table, we have to use a lightning form to input the records and save it. So this basic CRUD activities we have to do it, create, read, update, and then delete. So delete is something again, if I give a component here and then choose yes, delete, you can delete it off. There's anyway, it's a simple way to find a record and say yes or delete. So that won't be a big matter because you are given input here. So you got an account here. So the next account is to choose yes. That would be another option. So basically, any components that we take, we have to try it out with the CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete. Along with this, with this LWC, we are trying to hit a service also. We are going to display the data. So we'll see that also. Anyway, these guys have already given an example of displaying the data. So you can always go get the service and then get it. So I said you how to do go query them in the Postman. Um, just an example I showed you guys. But we'll see our original restaurants to get displayed in our data table. So the moment you key search, it should automatically pull up the records in the data table. So that's our goal tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Then few things about the life cycles of LWC will talk, and I think much. I'll see the LWC. What are the few other topics that is very important to cover? I'll just make all the notes and then quickly tell about each everything. So one of the use cases like table structure, hit a service, get the data, create a record, and then put there. So this all is already there. So we are doing it. And one LDS service. So without writing a code, you have to create a record there. So like how we did in Aura. So that one thing we'll do. So I'll come up with tomorrow few 4 to 5 points that everything that either we copy paste somewhere or we just get from the guide, but still we will all try to implement that. So that way at least we'll get an idea sometime back if we go to code. Okay, we have used simple lightning edit form. to enter in data, and then it's saved there. So we'll see all of this one by one use cases. We'll see. So one LDS, one data table, one service. So that we will try all of them. Fine. So any questions, guys?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. See you tomorrow.